Hi, good evening. How are you doing today? So, welcome to my daily live session on various topics for creating world class companies and exceptional leaders. And as I started yesterday, I'll be talking about one tool every day. And before I get into the tool, let me just explain what I spoke about yesterday and then talk about today's tool. Yesterday, I spoke about checklist, one of the basic fundamental, the basic foundations of any company, which any activity which you do. Checklist is something which is a very, very fundamental tool which can be used. And today I'll talk about something different. So this topic which I'm picking up is at random out of maybe about 150, 160 different tools that I know of, which I've learned over the 3 decades of my professional experience. And my explanation will be partly to some extent theory, and after that I'll try to give some examples from my experience so that you can get the hang of it, whatever that I'm trying to say. In case there is a clarification required, you're at any time most welcome to write to me. Let me just show my email, which is dinakar@samutana.com. And then I'll be more than happy to answer your queries and then get in touch with you. So let's now directly jump into today's topic, which is about the task lead time. Have you heard of this concept of task lead time? See, there are a lot of tasks which are uh, planned in business, in uh, companies, projects. So every task, what does it comprise of? I'm trying to depict something which is quite interesting. First is you have a planned start and a planned completion, like you see on the top. Of course, that's something which is quite natural. Any task could be as simple as making the flower arrangement for the marriage, or maybe a task for making sure that you have procured all the items required to party, for conducting a party, things of that kind. It could be any task, or maybe a very, very professional task of trying to ensure that the drawings are prepared and the drawings are released on time. Or it could be something to do with making sure that all the items required for a particular installation are all procured and then made available at the site. It could be any task. A task could be a major task, and then there could be a smaller task. And in each task, there are three distinct elements which I would like to explain. One is there is a what is called as a touch time. Touch time is something where one is actually working on the task. So I say that I need to now, let me take the case of making the flower arrangement. And when I'm doing the flower arrangement, there is some activity where I'm actually working. And I would say that I need about 1.5 days, for example. In that 1.5 days, the time that I'm going to work will possibly be only about 1.5 to 2 hours. Whereas the remaining portion would be to transport the flowers, to go there and to make sure that everything is put in place and maybe prepare the venue, etc. Similarly, in the case of making a drawing, if you say that, look, I'm going to make the drawings and release the drawings in the next 3 days, the actual time involved in making the drawing and releasing the drawing would possibly be only about uh, 3 hours. And that those 3 hours are called as a touch time, where you're really working on the particular activity. That is a touch time. That is the first which I want to introduce to you as a concept, which is what you see in the middle of the three elements mentioned in the graph. Then there is what is called as the buffer time. That means all of us want to succeed, right? We don't want to really fail anytime. So normally we build in some amount of buffer in whatever we are doing. So normally any activity which we do, there is good amount of buffer. So this buffer is something which we normally put it at the end. It should be the real thing, but in reality what happens, that's the way we start planning, and in reality the buffer gets consumed in the beginning, and later at the end we will try to hurry up. That's the typical exam syndrome, which you can see in all the cases whenever people are preparing and doing some task. And this last activity of hurrying up is quite common in any task, any project task. So the buffer time, though it is planned to be at the end, it gets consumed in the beginning itself, because we take it easy in the initial times of the task, because we already know that there is a good amount of time still available. And the next activity, which is interesting, is what I call as the bad multitasking. Again, this comes from theory of constraints. It's a very interesting concept, bad multitasking. Bad multitasking is something which is, what should I say, a very, very classical, what should I say, situation in which we live in today. Today, we say that all of us, many a times, many of us are proud that we can do multitasking. Multitasking is absolutely possible, provided it is being done by the subconscious. When you're doing a conscious multitasking, where the multitasking involves some amount of thinking and replying, thinking and talking, it will not be possible at all to do multitasking. If you're doing it subconsciously without putting any effort, then you can do multitasking without any limit at all. Absolutely no problem at all. You can do as much tasks as possible, but then there you don't have any conscious effort involved in that at all. So bad multitasking is something which is very, very classical. So I just give you a very simple example. This is the example which I give everybody when I do this activity. So for you to get the hang of it as to what bad multitasking is. And that's something that is going to eat up your time wherever you are working. And that is very, very highly unproductive. And that's something which we can stop. If we can stop, then we can get a phenomenal increase in productivity, especially in the indirect areas. Now, let me just take out my name, and then I'll start talking about what bad multitasking is. What I need to do is, whichever of you is watching now, so you need to really do the best and repeat one sa ri. See, one is the number, sa is the first letter of the Indian classical notes, music notes. There are sa ri ga ma pa. And then we talk about A, B, C, D, E. So sa, re, ga, ma, pa, 5 music notes. Or you can talk about do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si. 7 notes we'll take. So it becomes more Western. Or we can also take sa, re, ga, ma, pa. Let us take sa, re, ga, ma, pa because I'm from India. So sa, re, ga, ma, pa would be nice. Take sa, re, ga, ma, pa. And then you talk about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers. And then A, B, C, D, E. So what you need to do is now, very, very quickly, I am not that good at that. We do it the multitasking way. That means I say 1, sa, A, 2, re, B, 3, re, ga, si, 4, ma, D, 5, pa, E. So I took some time. Okay, that is what the multitasking way was. I'll write it down here. 1, sa, A, 2, re, A, B, 3, ga, C, 4, ma, D, 5, pa, E. Okay. So this is what you're going to see there. Let me now show this. This is what you're going to write. 1 sa A, 2 re B, 3 ga C, 4 ma D, 5 pa E. And this you need to do continuously. It's not about stopping. Now, the same thing, we will do the series way, where we are not doing multitasking. That means we will complete one task. In this case, what happened? I needed to say sa re ga ma pa. Instead of telling sa re ga ma pa, in between came a 1 and a 2, which were the disturbances. Now, let me do the same thing continuously. I'll speak about the same thing continuously. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, sa re ga ma pa, A, B, C, D, E. How easy was it? Can you see the difference? You try this exercise with your loved ones, with your friends. It really is magical. And imagine we are really so much amount of bent upon doing multitasking that we are so proud of doing multitasking. Whenever you do multitasking, you lose a tremendous amount of time. The same thing if I write down the other way around, which is to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, D, E, sa, re, ga, ma, pa. You see the speed with which I could write it here. The same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, D, E, sa, re, ga, ma, pa. I could do it very, very quickly. And the same thing happens in reality also. In at work, it's the same thing. So unless you are in a position to avoid this multitasking, in any project activity, that is a big killer in any project task. So when you talk about task lead time management, it is important to understand these three concepts of touch time, buffer time, and bad multitasking time. Multitasking time is when you are constantly getting disturbed by somebody or the other. That you need to avoid. Why do you think you need more time? Because whenever I spoke about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I was clear. I had to just speak about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's more or less from my subconscious. I'm doing that. It's something which is very, very natural. When I need to say 1 sa A, then I have to first understand 1 sa and then A. And after that, next time when I come to the next letter, I need to remember now what was it that I said last time. So the same thing happens at work also. I need to remember how much work did I complete in the last small portion before I got disturbed. So I need that time to ramp up and again to ramp down because some disturbance happened. Similarly, again, once more to ramp up and ramp down. That's a very, very funny situation to be in. So don't be in that situation. So try to make sure that you have zero multitasking going on when you are doing a project activity, especially at any task. It need not be only a project task, it could be any task. Make sure that you have zero multitasking, and make sure that the buffer is at the end, because whenever you're doing a project task, it always is surprising because you're doing something for the first time. Because you're doing it for the first time, there are bound to be surprises, and these surprises are going to be really nasty. Dr. Murphy is always there. Therefore, you need some amount of time to breathe, and therefore the buffer is required. Buffer at the end is always a must to make sure that you complete that task in advance. And so it's good if you didn't complete the task in advance, use the buffer so that you always can fulfill the task on time in full. Thanks a lot for watching. And tomorrow we talk about another tool. And looking forward to again seeing you tomorrow, more or less at the same time, 8:30 Indian Standard Time. Goodbye and good night. For those of you in India, have a nice evening. For those of you outside India, have a great day ahead. Bye-bye.